Hey guys, welcome to Tyson's Fitness Tips podcast. If you want to lose weight, increase your energy, improve your health and fitness, and look your best, then you have come to the right place. My name is Tyson Brown. I'm a personal trainer, and my job is to help you transform your body by sharing with you the most up-to-date information on health and fitness. I'm going to distill it all down for you into bite-sized actionable steps that you can take immediately to see results quickly. Now, every Tuesday and Thursday, you can expect a brand new episode, which will be a mixture of interviews with top experts from around the world in the fitness space, and as well as solo episodes from myself, sharing with you exactly what action steps you need to take to transform your health, your body, and your life. So, let's get into the show. White sugar is the devil. What is going on, guys? It is Tyson Brown, your transformation coach, and today I want to talk to you about why white sugar is one of the worst things you can consume. So, coming to last week, it was one of my friend's birthdays, right? And for a celebration, one of his friends bought him a whole bunch of donuts. And what happened is, after he bought him the donuts, he's like, hey, we're going to have a celebration, come downstairs. You know, we're going to have donuts for him. I was like, okay, cool. So I came down there knowing beforehand that there was going to be donuts there, right? And so I went there and I'm like, no, you know what? I'm not going to touch them. Or I might just have one, you know? And so when I actually went there, what happened is after we sang him happy birthday and after he got his donuts, he actually said, you know what, guys, I'm not really feeling it today. I don't really want the donuts and I'm not going to take them home with me. How about you all just share them? And I was like, oh yeah, okay, cool. I'm just going to have a little bit, you know? I made up this excuse. I'm going to have a little bit because I'm going to do a training session and I need some energy. And so I was like, yeah, that's a good excuse. That was what I was telling myself in my head. And so what I did is I started to eat a little bit of donut and I was like, oh, this is really good. Oh, maybe I'll try a little bit of this one. Maybe I'll try a little bit of this one. And I just kept going and trying little bits of all the donuts. I ended up eating 4 whole donuts. Yep. I just, that's the absolute truth. I just said, you know what? I'm just going to go nuts. And it was like there was 2 of me. Do you know what I'm saying? Like there was one side of me saying, what are you doing? You know, you don't need to be eating this donut. And the other side's like, oh my God, this is so good. And I'm sure you've experienced this before because we all have. And that is your reptilian brain versus your conscious brain. So one side of you is saying, oh, you know, this is bad. You shouldn't be doing this. But the other side, the reptilian brain, which is still related to our ancestors. So it thinks that we don't have an abundance of food and it's still living in that scarcity place. So what it does is like, no, eat now. And so you just consume all of this sugar. And at the time, it tastes so good, right? You love that sugar hit. You can feel it tasting on your tongue. And it's, even as I talk about it now, like it's a great taste, you know, sugar, fats, because all the donuts, they have different ones. There was caramel, there was chocolate, there was all of them. And I could not stop myself. And even me being a fitness coach, like knowing that this is bad, I just could not stop. And I just kept going and going and going. I'm like, oh my God. And then like, you know, in the back of my head the whole time, it's like, what are you doing? You need to stop. Oh, just a little bit more. Oh, just a little bit more. Oh, just a little. And then before I knew it, there was 4 donuts gone. Easy. Like it was fast. You know, you don't know what happened. And then you kind of come back in reality. Then you start beating yourself up and you're like, oh man, I feel like shit. Why did I do that? You beat yourself up. And it's the devil because you can't physically stop yourself. So what you need to do is you need to restrict yourself from those high foods that contain sugars. So at the end of the day, you don't have to completely always cut them out, but you've got to limit this stuff because what I also found too is it wasn't the bad feeling that I had after I ate the donuts. I also got sick afterwards, right? Not throwing up, but like, you know, my stomach felt heavy. I felt sick. It just felt disgusting. You guys know that feeling that I'm talking about, where like you just don't feel right in your stomach and it just feels yuck. So I went and had a training session, and what happened is my energy was good, but then I had that crash because I also didn't combine the food with anything else. When you just have sugar by itself, that boosts your blood sugar and raises your insulin levels, right? And then you're going to have that massive crash. So one of the things I should have done is I should have paired that with maybe some protein or something to slow down the digestion. Now, clearly I wouldn't eat like protein or vegetables or anything with a donut, but it's a good thought to have in the future because that's going to slow down the digestion. It's going to slow down that huge spike and then that big crash that you get. And afterwards, it wasn't just the crash then, it was actually what happened for the next 2 days. So my focus was just completely scattered. Like I could not sit down, I could not focus for periods of time. I kept getting anxious, and I kept getting like jittery, and I just couldn't do anything. Like it's like I wasn't myself, and I just had this really like I was bouncing from one thing to the other. I started getting really stressed out. I kept having to get up, and I'd go from one task, I'd do this, and then I'd talk about this, and then I'd go to something else, and it's just not good at the end of the day. Like clearly I had just completely ruined my my mental focus, my concentration, my mood, my energy. Everything was affected from the donut. So it's not just what you're going to have in the short term, and yes, it's going to add to your waistline too. And that's the thing, like all these things, all this white sugar, even though it tastes so goddamn good all the time, it's not worth the outcome. Like, was it worth me losing 2 days of productivity, making myself jittery and anxious around things, getting nervous, having mood swings, feeling like crap in my stomach, being concerned about my weight gain, all of those things, it makes you feel bad. And it's really, really not worth it for your self-esteem, and especially for your health, because that could be, you could be triggering type 2 diabetes with all these spikes. So you need to completely cut that shit out of your diet, okay? Sorry about the swearing, but it's true. Like, this is literally the devil. Like, this thing is what's gonna set you on a path to nowhere. This is gonna make you gain weight. It's gonna affect you, and you don't realize it until you have it. And it's funny because we always do it to ourselves. We know we shouldn't, but then we go for it. So what you need to do is you need to get this stuff out of your house. If you have a problem with sugar or some type of trigger food, like for me, I can keep dark chocolate in the house, no worries, it doesn't bother me at all. But when it comes to other foods like that, like now I know that I cannot ever have them in my house. And luckily I don't, because they're just too expensive too. Like a $6 or $7 for a donut is no way. I'm not gonna spend that to have just one donut. So you've got to be aware of these things. Like, what are your trigger foods? Can you not keep ice cream in the house? Can you not keep, is it chocolate for you? Whatever it is, keep it away, because at the end of the day, if you're just getting these sugar spikes and you're just you're boosting your blood sugar levels and they're completely dropping, you are going to be ruining your health. You're going to be ruining your concentration. You're going to keep that stubborn belly fat on, and that's what we're trying to focus on getting rid of, right? But when you do all these things to counteract that, because we love the taste of sugar, it's just, you're leading yourself down for disaster. So a good way for you guys to do this is to really think about, whenever you have this coming up, take 5 minutes, walk away, go and do something, go and distract yourself, and see if you still crave it. Because at the end of the day, you might be craving, but if you say, you know what, I'm gonna have this sugary thing, or I'm gonna have this donut after I eat lunch, or after, I'm just gonna put it off a little bit longer, I'm gonna go for a walk, and then I'll see if I'm still craving it. When you can just put off that temptation, usually that temptation is gonna fade, and the only problem is it's when it's in your face. So I know a lot of you work in offices, and you're gonna be experiencing this a lot. Like, people are gonna have birthdays, things are gonna come in, office, co-workers are gonna bring in treats, and these things, these are just bombs, these are just ticking time bombs waiting to go off, because you're like, oh no, it's another struggle, and you've got to get yourself away from it. So the further you get away from it, the harder you make it for yourself. So whether that be going for a walk, whether it be saying, all right, I'm going to get out of here, or just going to say happy birthday to your co-worker, and then completely going away, just get away from the scene, get yourself away from it, because the more it's presented in front of you, the more likely you are not going to be able to resist it, because it's temptation. It's like it's laughing in your face. And you're like, oh man, I really, really want that chocolate. But just get away from it, so at the end of the day, find out what your trigger foods are, and then just try and find ways to deter it, because you've got to distract yourself. You've got to keep your mind off these things, because if you're constantly like, I want that sugar, I want that sugar, I want that sugar, I want that sugar, and then you're looking at it and it's right there, it's on the table in front of you, you are not going to be able to stay away from it long. Your willpower might be strong, but it's only going to be strong for so long, because it gets depleted. And especially if you're having a stressful day at work or things like that come up, how easy is it if you just go, you know what, I'm just gonna have that little piece of sugar, and you just think, stuff it, I'm just gonna have it. And then from there, it's all downhill. So I want you guys to really think about that. You do not need to be consuming. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be consuming the food you enjoy, but at the same time, when it comes to white sugar, when it comes to that sugary stuff, just keep it away, because there is nothing good about it. There is no nutritional value in it. It makes you feel bad. It makes you feel sluggish. It's gonna help. It's gonna keep that stubborn belly fat on. It's gonna make, your mood's gonna change. Like I said, my energy and my focus for the next 2 days was just crazy. My anxiety went up. It was just, honestly, I cannot describe how angry it makes me feel that I had that and that it affected me that much. And I'm just like, you know what, I do not need this in my house. And that's why I make sure it never comes into the home. So guys, that is just the quick informational update about making sure you don't let that crap in your house. If you have it, cut it out of your cupboards. Don't keep it around where you can see it. Know what your trigger foods are. Once you know what they are, make sure you don't bring them into the house. And if things happen at work, like people bringing birthday cakes and stuff, remove yourself from the area. Say happy birthday, do what you got to do, and then remove yourself from that area as fast as possible, and make sure it's not an eyesight. Make sure it's hard to get to. You know, the harder you make it for yourself, the more likely you're going to stay away from it at the end of the day. So that's just my little thoughts of the day as I'm walking in the park, and I thought I'd share with you guys because it's making me feel bad. So I know exactly how you guys feel when you have it. You feel great in the moment. You know, you're the back of your brain's like, yes, this is so good. Have as much as you can, and then afterwards you're just like, what just happened? Who took over my body? I feel terrible, and it just goes downwards from there. So guys, what I want you to do actually is, if you guys have had this problem before and you're still struggling with it, send me a message to tyson@tysonbrown.com.au and I'll help you out. I'll give you some simple tips you can use, because I know how much of a struggle it is. I still struggle with this on a daily basis, and I want to share it with you guys too, like that I struggle. I'm not some perfect trainer who I'm like, I just eat strict all the time and this is that and this is that, because things do come up and I tend to slip up too. So I've got to admit my faults, because at the end of the day, you guys have got to be able to see like, hey, I'm not perfect. I mess up. I make mistakes and I beat myself up. All these things come up, but I know how to apply the things that are also going to help. And one more thing, if you do fall into temptation, if this actually does happen, reduce the amount of calories you're eating for the rest of the day. So for me, this happened at mid-morning, okay? So all I had was a little shake for breakfast. Now that way, for the rest of my day, I wasn't worrying about, like, you know, I could reduce the amount of food I'm eating, and all I did was I stuck to eating vegetables and I stuck to eating lean protein. That's all I had. There was nothing else. I didn't have anything else. That was my carbohydrates for the day. So I was like, you know what, that's all I'm gonna have. I'm just gonna have protein and vegetables for the rest of the day, because that way, then you can still make up for it. The worst thing you can do is say, oh, I had 4 donuts. Fuck it, stuff it. I'm just gonna eat like crap for the rest of today. Oh, today was a stuff up, I'm gonna eat like crap for the rest of the week, because you're just gonna send yourself on a downward spiral, and that is the last thing you wanna do, because you're just gonna undo all that hard work you're putting in. You go into the gym, you train hard, you do your cardio, you do your workout, you do all those things, and you do not wanna undo that with one bad day's worth of eating, just to think, stuff it. And it's easy. It's easy for you to think, oh, stuff it, I've already ruined it, I might as well, because I had the exact same thought, but then I thought, no, I'm not just gonna throw it all out. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna concentrate, I'm gonna get back to what I wanna focus on, and I'm gonna go from there. So guys, like I said, they are the tips you need to be using. Stay away from, just completely stay away from it. That's gonna be the end of the day. Like, just, you need to cut it out of your diet, and that's all it really is to it. These are my thoughts as I walk in the park. If you, like I said, if you guys struggle with this or you need help with anything, send a message to tyson@tysonbrown.com.au, and I will speak to you next time. Hey, thanks for listening to the podcast. I really appreciate it. Before you go, can you please do me a massive favor and share this podcast with one friend or family member who you think would benefit from listening? All you have to do is open up your podcast app, click on those 3 dots next to the episode and click on share episode. Then you can text or email it to that friend or family member and tell them to check it out. Also, if you guys want to connect with me, I am on all social media platforms, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you want to find me, it's at TysonBPT, TysonBPT. Also, if you guys like the podcast, please go to iTunes and leave me a rating. This helps me get up the rankings, and it also helps other people find me so I can help them improve their health and fitness. Once again, thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode.